Hey everyone, Steve from Backcountry Gallery here. This time around, I have my wife Rose with me. She's a professional wildlife photographer, and my good friend Dennis. He is also a professional wildlife photographer, and he runs our Costa Rica workshops for us. And today, we're going to talk about how to photograph in Costa Rica. Not just how to go out there and take pictures, but what gear you need, where to go, when to go, why we do what we do, how our workshops run, and what you can expect when you come down to Costa Rica. So we asked over at the BCG forums and we said, hey, do you guys have any questions about Costa Rica? And the people from the BCG forums went crazy and gave us a ton of questions, way more than we can answer. But we kind of filtered it down to the most popular topics. So we're going to address those right now. If you're thinking about a Costa Rica trip, even if it's not with us, if you're thinking about a Costa Rica trip, though, man, this is going to be the most valuable video you watch. Let's get started. Go ahead, Rose. Let's get with this. Let's get with the program here.
What are the best lenses to bring for shooting in the rainforest? How many do you really need? Plus, if you only could take one, which one?
Well, Steve, thank you for this opportunity, and that's a very interesting question because a lot of people, always don't know what to bring. For me, that I live here, it's always many different opportunities. So if you bring the longer lens you have, you might miss some stuff. If you only bring the short one, you're gonna miss some stuff. So I think I would say that between 400 to 600 for everything that is far away, I think that would be appropriated. If you have more reach at home, you can bring it too, because that's gonna be good. I don't know.
Yeah, I tend to agree with that. When we come down here, it seems like I can shoot this entire thing at 600 millimeter if I wanted to. It seems like that's really kind of the sweet spot for lenses. And just to kind of answer that other question, if I could only bring one lens, what would it be? For me, 600. How about you?
Yes, the 600.
Dennis?
600.
Okay, there you go. Now you know. So if you can only bring one lens, it's got to be that 600 millimeter. But yeah, I mean, there's a wide variety of things. There's a wide variety of locations. So depending on where you are in the country, I suppose it can vary. But for where we usually shoot, 600's a sweet spot.
Yes, and it's if you have too much lens, if you don't have if it's a prime lens, you can always just get a nice portrait. So you always can have something. If you're stuck in the 600, you can always get some nice stuff.
Excellent.
The next question is, do I need a macro lens?
The thing is, I always recommend one because you can get in there with some of the super zooms and some of the 200 to 400s of the world, and a lot of lenses can focus pretty close. But I find that anytime I have those lenses I'm trying to make do, or we have a workshop and they're trying to make do with those lenses, it seems to me like a lot of times people end up in a situation where they kind of wish they had the macro. What's your take, Dennis?
Yes, Costa Rica have all different kind of animals, and in the macro time, in the macro day, we have opportunities for different sizes of animals. So that really makes it very important to have a macro lens for those small target like a poison dart frogs. And, it's just fun to be there and then just see all the details, and the macro lenses can help you with that.
And right, because the poison dart frog is what, the size of a quarter? Yeah, I mean, they're very small.
1 inch maybe, tiny. Yeah, you want to feel the frame because with the other lens you will be a little away from them. And, it's good to also have other stuff, but for snakes or something like that. Mm-hmm. But for macro, for frogs, very important the macro lenses.
Yeah.
Our next question is, should I bring more than one body or favor bringing more lenses? I can answer this one.
Go for it.
Always bring two bodies.
Yeah. Always bring two bodies.
Always. I'll let you explain why we say two bodies.
I cannot recall a workshop this year where we didn't have at least somebody lose a body or something malfunction with some body or another. And there's been multiple times on our workshops this year, not just in Costa Rica, but throughout the world, where people had two camera bodies, and it was a good thing because their main body died and they had to go to their backup. In one case, it was very early in the trip. So there is absolutely no way I would not come with two bodies. Even if the second body is just kind of a small, less expensive body. You don't always have to have two pro bodies or anything, but yeah, I would definitely have two bodies.
The next question Is a f6.3 lens workable in the low light under the canopy, or do you really need faster glass? Plus, what are some strategies for using slower glass in the dark rainforest environment?
Ooh, tossing this one to Dennis, giving him the hard ones.
Well, the rainforest it's a beautiful place, but it's really hard to shoot here. The light condition is very, it changes every minute almost, from very dark to very light. So, of course, it would be nice to have a lot of light available. But if you only have let's say the 600, 6.3, you probably have to play it a lot with, and that's what we do every day here, is to know how low can you do your shutter speed to be low in your ISOs, and that way have better files to work with after and editing. So definitely you need to take care of a lot of stuff here depending on the background, so get but yeah, if you have a 6.3 lenses, you need to really play more with the shutter speed and try to lower the value. And you have a big primes, and they're nice for the light, but they're heavy too. So it's just one of those things that you know better what you can handle. But there's always chances for everyone to have a 6.3 lens. That's for sure. Everyone can shoot here. Doesn't matter what lens you have.
Right. Now, and so as far as some of the strategies, some of the things that we recommend, you've probably seen my videos on ISO ratcheting, where, like Dennis says, you take some shots, then you go down a little bit, then you take some more shots, and you drop your shutter speed, and you just keep going down and see what you can do. We also always recommend to our participants do long bursts, so not just a quick little snap, but 20 frames a second, and just lay on it and just get all those shots, and it puts the odds in your favor. You'd be amazed how often you can get a razor sharp image of something at 1/60th of a second, just because you took a whole bunch of them in order to get there. And that's a really good strategy with those slower lenses. And Dennis, before the interview, we were talking about the weight of these lenses and being able to sport them. You had a really good thought on that.
Yeah, we were talking about the value of prime lenses with big apertures to get more light here, but the downside of that is how heavy they are. And also here in the rainforest is a lot of animals are up in trees, so your angles are pretty high. So those make it more hard to play with. It's not just to hold the lens straight. This is more like different angles, different positions, and that in the whole day period you will get tired of that, and then that's when you have to decide, okay, I'm really strong, I can handle my big lens, or I can be more mobile and shoot the whole day with the 6.3, 180 to 600, or 200, 600 in the Sony. So, it's when you guys talk about what we suggest to bring, you also need to know what can you handle at home. And then we know the angles here again at all directions, down, middle, up, and so it's a lot to play with. So,
and I'd also add just one more thing to that. And that thought just occurred to me too, that if you have a 6.3 lens, but you're like, I really want like a 600 f4 or a 400 2.8 down here, I would recommend the 600 f4 over the 400 2.8. But if, let's say, you wanted to do that, you can always rent one. If you feel like you're strong enough to hold it, and you'll be able to hand hold it or use it on a monopod, but you don't want to commit to that $15,000 price tag, you can always just rent one and bring it down too. So I mean, there's definitely some versatility there. We have a lot of people that rent the faster glass, but again, as Dennis points out, if you're going to have a hard time handling that lens, I think it's better to use the shorter glass.
For sure.
Well,
or
that
the slower glass.
kind of leads into our next question, because you're talking about handling this heavier glass and that, and hand holding. Is the next question is, what do they need for support? Monopod, tripod,
Hand holding.
gimbal head? I mean, what do you suggest?
I think monopods are probably about our most popular option here.
Yeah, there are some few situations where the tripod will be good, but if you take the whole week here, that will be very, very not much of that use because everything is moving different direction. It's really hard to deal with a tripod, and thanks to the VR of the camera nowadays is making it more easier to shoot at the hand holding. So I think monopod will be the more used to give you that extra support, but not with three legs. Just one leg will be quicker.
Yeah.
Just make sure you have a good gimbal head or something for the type of lens you have.
Right, yeah, as far as the gimbal heads go, I still like that Wimberley mono gimbal head. People ask me about that from time to time if I'm still a fan. I have one on my monopod right now, and that one works really well. It's small, compact, light, but whatever type of monopod head you like, it's fine. It's just nice to have a monopod. The other thing I would add to all of this is that you want a monopod that's taller than you are. A lot of times when people are buying tripods and monopods, they're not thinking about shooting animals and trees, so they look at the height of it and they say, oh, well, I'm 6 foot tall, and the tripod's 6 foot tall, so I must be good. The problem is when you have something up in a tree and you're tipping that camera like this, it points the viewfinder down, and you need the monopod or tripod to actually be higher. So I think my monopod goes 6.5, 7 feet, something like that, but it makes it very comfortable. You don't want to be in a position where you're waiting on something in a tree with a monopod and you're squatting the whole time because your monopod's too short.
Well, let me bring this back to the question, because I get a lot of emails, because I'm at home answering emails from our clients coming, and I get a lot of, monopod, tripod. And when I have to answer it, I'm always like thinking of with our workshop, our macro days.
Right.
When you're trying to handle the macro lens, and if you're going to focus stack.
Yeah, if you're going to focus stack, you're going to need a...
you need a,
tripod.
That's where it comes in, where it's a little tricky for me to answer you, is because I don't know if you're going to be one of those clients that wants to just use a 105 macro and run around and handhold, or if you're going to be using a 100 or 400, or if you want a focus stack. So if you're planning on coming to our workshop and you are focused and you want to do the focus stack, bring a tripod. It doesn't have to be a super big, heavy one, as long as it can handle your camera and your lens, and it is steady. It cannot be stretched out. You don't want the neck stretched out on there, because that's a weak point in stabilization and that. You want to be able to have a good steady lens.
Exactly, but if you're not planning on focus stacking, a lot of times we see people use monopods with macros.
Yep.
with their macro lens, and that works. And that's a nice compromise versus hand holding. It still gives you some extra support, but it doesn't slow you down like a tripod can.
Yep. So our next question is, do you need to use a fill flash in this jungle?
No.
It scares the animals, to be honest.
Some animals get really
Worked
bad,
up.
like capuchin monkeys, for example. They
Oh,
don't
yes.
like it. So
They get mad.
Some of the mammals don't. And then, now we have a good technology to
Right.
kind of not.
And honestly, we don't even use them when we're doing the macro day with the frogs and that, because it makes them squint when you fire it. So we don't even recommend bringing it even for our workshop.
No,
because it's hard on them.
Right, and the thing is, in the past we would use fill flash because we were either using film or the dynamic range of the sensor was so poor. But nowadays with modern cameras, if you're at a decently low ISO, you can do so much with shadow pulling, and it looks so much more natural. We were talking about this before the interview, and one of the things that we brought up was that sometimes a flash just kind of looks fake.
Yes. This question came up quite a bit with the first group we had here. We're in between groups. Do you need a polarizer or a neutral density filter?
The downside is just you will have some couple of stops down, and as we were talking previously, it's you're always trying to get your shutter speed down to get lower ISOs, and especially you are in a very dark situations. There's a few times, and we are in the boat, that we have a lot of brightness there that it's a bright day that you could use it. So I don't think it's something that you needed to as a new things, a new to buy. So, but if you have it or something, it doesn't take so much space, and you feel like you can use it, you can bring it. It will not hurt anything. But yeah.
Cool.
The next question is, what accessory gear do you take? Rain covers, types of camera bags, cleaning the gear? I mean, what I know we just work with our regular Guru bags.
Yeah, I had some people.
And so do you.
We had some specific questions about, do you need like a fully waterproof bag to deal with the situations here? And it would depend on what you were doing. For our particular tour, you do not need any kind of fully waterproof bag. We are able to get that stuff under protection if it starts to pour down rain. It's not a big deal. But depending on where you are, if you're on some tour where you're trekking through the jungle, then it might be a different consideration. But as far as I think most typical Costa Rica tours, you don't really need to worry about like anything special for the bag. I just use the Guru gear 30L plus for me. But yeah, so as far as the bags go, I do keep I do have a rain cover with me for the camera. I don't really use it because the thing is, a lot of times I've found that if it's pouring down rain, the animals kind of tuck up underneath the vegetation and stuff, and sometimes if it's pouring down rain, you're not going to be out shooting anyway. You got to kind of, everyone's hiding, so you're not going to have any shots anyway. So, but if you wanted to something like that, a raincoat, obviously just your normal standard cleaning accessories, sensor cleaners, lens cleaning. You guys think anything else?
When we go out, we just we have a dry towel. So if it does get wet, we wipe it off when we get back in the vehicles.
And when people go back to their rooms, can get a AC, and then that helps to dry up a little bit more your stuff.
Yep.
So yeah. No.
Next question is humidity an issue for cameras, and how do you protect your gear?
Well, that's kind of related also, the question before about how cleaning, and humidity here is very high, but you will not stay long enough to really make your gear affected. I live here. I do have like a box with the machine to take the humidity away, but that's because I live here. But for a week, I don't think that will be an issue. And again, you will go back to the room with AC, so all that helps to kind of prevent some of this. Actually, in the morning it's the opposite, because the humidity is the lens could be fogged. So then you need to use the dryer,
the hair dryer,
to kind of have the same temperature outside. But yeah, no, it is. As we're talking about the rain, with something for a cover, and that will be fine. And don't worry about the humidity.
Yeah. And you were saying even when you travel in Costa Rica, you don't really take any desiccants or anything like that.
No.
Even if you're gone for a week or two and you have no air conditioning, it's not.
Yeah.
It's just not long enough you've not had any problems.
It's only if you live here. Then I probably
Then
stay more than a month, and then you probably have to have some silica gel or some other extra items to kind of prevent that. But for a week, 2 weeks, that would be fine.
Yeah, and for whatever it's worth, a lot of times Rose and I are down here we've been down here at one time for
almost 2 months.
Almost 2 months, and we didn't take any special precautions at all, had zero problems with humidity. One of the things that Dennis touched on, I'm going to just expand on just a little bit, was a hair dryer. Because if you're in a room that's air conditioned at night and you come out and your lens fogs up, it's a big problem. It could take an hour or so before you can start shooting again. So one of the tricks we use is we take a hair dryer, you just kind of blow warm air over the whole lens, not just the front, but you get the front, but you just kind of go up and down the whole lens, and just do that until it's kind of nice, kind of a nice warm to the touch kind of feel, and it gets it above the dew point and you're good.
I'm glad this question was asked, because I get this question a lot when you guys sign up or thinking of signing up. You send me questions. Is why do Steve and I run this workshop through the rainy season? Well, this starts with, if you don't mind, with him. You like shooting in the rain a lot.
I do.
But the thing is when you don't come down here during the rainy season, and Dennis, correct me if I'm wrong, and we're dealing with a lot of dry, and the leaves don't look good, and a lot of dust. But when we come down here in the rainy season, everything is so green and vibrant, and it's just so beautiful, and we're not dealing with the dust, and it's just amazing to shoot in the colors, the background colors, and that. But maybe you want to add to why you like to shoot here.
I mean, I do enjoy shooting in the rain. That's no secret. But the other thing is that we have a better chance for overcast, and it is a little bit tough, I think, when the sun's out to try to shoot in the rainforest. It's really, really tricky. You have light all over the place. You have deep shadows. You have bright highlights, and it's more of a battle. Your versatility, I would say, when you're out there shooting, is much more limited, because you can't just shoot anything, because you have to look at it and say, oh, that's in bad light, so I got to find a different subject, or wait till that subject gets someplace else. When it's overcast, we don't have any problem with it. And the truth is, we don't really have problems with rain, do we, with this?
No.
Yes, the rainy season in Costa Rica starts from like May to December, January, and when people hear about rainy season, people think like it's poor raining every single day. Could be raining every day, but not where you will be. So that's the thing, we have a lot of microclimates, and always you have chances to not have rain. Even if it rains so hard, when you wake up 1 hour later, will be no rain. So the clouds is the key for what we do, and so we try to have even light for the shooting, and cloudy days is the best. Especially we have some rain to make Steve happy,
Yeah, I like stuff that's wet. What can I say? I like when everything's wet. It looks really cool.
So yeah, no, that's it's fun. Also, it's less people in Costa Rica. Is a touristic country. We have less people around. Our roads, when we go look for wildlife, is in roads that don't have pavement, so it's dry and it will be dust all over, and so that makes the plant be brown. So sometimes, the colors are not as vivid as right now. So it's like every time we have a shower, just the colors come to life again, and that's why we love the rainy season to shoot. And then again, not many people around, so good for us.
Oh, and red-eyed tree frogs.
Yes.
Oh, yes.
That's a good one.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah, the rainy season, more amphibians available. So when we do the macro shooting day, that's fun. We have more opportunities for the red-eyed tree frogs and other amphibians that will be part of that day.
Yeah.
So the next question is how do you deal with the metering in the rainforest condition? What metering modes do you use?
I'm Matrix, Rose.
I'm Matrix.
Protecting the highlights.
Matrix, yeah. I mean, I don't think there's anything super special. We were talking earlier. A lot of times, it's just you get situations where the vegetation's a little bit darker than middle tone. So I'm usually a third to 2/3 of a stop. Dennis uses half stop, so he's like a half a stop, but underexposed. But that's for the most part.
Yeah, well, there's different to do it, and if people like to shoot against the sky, maybe you might change, with the sky, you can change to more like a spot metering or something like that. But we will always try to put something in the background to make it, the animal have more interest. So if you always having this type of way of shooting, like always, trying to look for something nice behind the subject, so more likely you are protecting the highlights. So that's why we ended up shooting with Matrix, because that's how we do it better. So
Right.
And that kind of leads into our next question is how do you deal with these bright highlights when the sun is out? So
By coming in the rainy season when we have a lot of clouds, so we don't have to deal with them. We could just skip that whole problem if we have overcast. But
if we have
to answer the
overcast.
question,
but they're always, today is not really bad. It's really nice and cloudy too. But and the good thing is that we have a different ecosystem, and some places are open areas, some other more deep into the forest. If it's too bright, we can go inside the forest.
Right.
If it's good, we're outside the forest. So it's there's always something to shoot and some places to visit. So there's no like you wanna not shooting today. So we actually go out the whole day.
right? And a lot of times if you're in a situation where you're photographing a troop of monkeys, and you're over there and it's and one of them's in really bright, terrible light, or one has really bad background, you just look for another one, and then you take that monkey and maybe he's in shade and you just kind of angle yourself so that there's also shade in dark area behind him, and it looks like you're shooting in the shade. I think the biggest problem with really bright days is it just kind of limits your options as far as what you can shoot, because if something's in really bad light or it's in a really bad spot, there's not much you can do but wait for it to move. Or when it's overcast, you avoid that altogether. But you can certainly shoot in bad light down here. We sometimes have to, and we make it all work.
I think this one I'm going to lean more towards you, Dennis. Costa Rica has a lot of diversity. What types of animals do you find in various areas?
Oh boy, that's a good one. Well, I think this is one of the most the country with the more biodiversity in the world. We have 5% of the world's biodiversity, and we have a very, very small land. So, which means by a square unit area, we have a lot to see. And the Osa Peninsula, it has 50% of all the species that we found in the country. Mm-hmm. So, here we can get 4 species of monkeys, two kinds of sloths, scarlet macaws, toucans, a lot of frogs, reptiles. So, we always talk about this, and, even as much as you start one day, the first day, and that day is maybe 1 hour without finding a subject, which really doesn't happen that often. But at the end of the week, you will not even know how many species you already have in your memory. So,
right, so
there's
much.
always something to choose. There's always fun, different sizes. So from like a small insects like dragonflies up to a big monkey or tapir, sometimes can find one of those. And yeah, it's a lot of diversity, a lot of micro climates that helps the ecosystem and different flora to all these animals to hang out there. So it's a fun place. It's a fun place, but because you don't need to move too far to find different things or animals. So yeah.
Now, what about like you have different? Is there different species like Central area and Caribbean area?
Oh yeah.
Okay.
Costa Rica, in the middle have a big mountain range called Talamanca, over 3,000 meters, that makes like a big wall for the Caribbean and the Pacific side. So just that makes isolation. And for some species, they're only on remote sites. So that's why Costa Rica is a very, very fun place to shoot. I always recommend first the Oyster Peninsula as the intro rainforest, because in this place we do have a little bit of everything. So in other places, probably you see more inclination into the birds, more inclination into the hummingbirds, the quetzal, like the cloud forest. It's a fun place to go all over the country, but the OSA has a little bit of everything.
The next question, I think, leans more towards me, with a little help from Dennis. But I think, what are the logistics of internal flights, baggage limits, and how much gear is reasonable to carry along? How do you deal with weight limits?
Oh boy.
Yeah.
Oh boy.
That is the number one question from all my workshop participants.
Here we go.
Okay, so if I'm correct, SANSA is the biggest domestic airline here in Costa Rica, and that is the one that we use to do your round trip from San Jose down here to Puerto Jimenez. Now, our clients are allowed, as of today and the date of this video, 60 pounds, and that is your camera, your computer bag, and your luggage. Now, Steve and I do a lot of traveling. We deal with a lot of little, I believe they're called caravan airplanes. I call them bush flights. And we get restricted all year. But when we get the opportunity to come down here, we can breathe a little bit. Because if you come down here on our workshop, I don't know how all the other airlines work.
Or other workshops.
Or other workshops. This is Steve and I's workshop and Dennis's workshop. If you come down on ours, when you check in at SANSA, if your 3 bags are over 60 pounds, well, you get the privilege of paying $2 per pound over. So this time, Steve and I said, we're not even going to weigh our bags. We'll just buy our way through it. We were only 7 pounds over between the two of us. I only had to pay $14 to get my gear down here and my luggage and that. We're here a month, and we just, sometimes you just say enough's enough. But yes, with our group, and every group varies and depends, but with Backcountry Gallery, as of the date of this, you are allowed to bring 60 pounds total between your bag, your computer, camera, and that. Now, as far as what is reasonable to bring in gear, I know my bag personally this year had my Z9, the 400 2.8 with the built-in TC. I had the Z6, the 24 to 120.
Yep.
And a little bit of accessories, my little binoculars, I like my little Swarovski binoculars, the microphone system for this, some little accessories. So I was a little lighter on this trip. Usually I take something a little different on my other trips, but I knew we were doing this video, so I packed differently. Steve, you brought down your Sony gear.
I had I had the Sony gear on this one, so I had a pair of A1 Mark IIs, 600 f4.
A grip?
With a grip. One of them has a grip. And I had the 300 2.8 and a macro lens.
Oh, we did bring down the Nikon.
Yeah, Nikon 105 too.
Yeah, we brought that, but I think you put it in your little Guru computer bag.
Right. Yeah, so it didn't all fit in the bag.
Yeah, so he put that in there, and that was part of our 60 pounds. Now, I'd love to ask Dennis this question, but he lives here. He doesn't have to fight with the weight restriction like we all do when we come and go.
So, yeah.
No, yeah.
But I guess my only other thing with this would be to not go crazy. You could be a little over, but if you are too far over, they may say, well, we can't take your bag right now at all, so we're going to fly it in on a later flight or tomorrow or something.
Right.
So, obviously don't go crazy. Bag. Don't abuse it, but, if you're a little bit over, don't sweat it.
Just pay the $2 per pound.
Yep.
The next question is, Dennis, I'll have you help with this one. What about local costs for food, tipping? Does everyone take U.S. dollars? Do I need local currency? What about credit cards? I know with me, I've never changed into your dollars. I've always given U.S. dollars for tipping and that. I do recommend that if you're one of those ones that likes your American Express card, it's not going to be taken everywhere, so always make sure you have that Visa or MasterCard as a backup. Do not bring the Discover. Visa, MasterCard is the #1 thing down here. You know, that if you're going to take a credit card. Not everyone take credit cards, you know, but most of the businesses do, you know, but I definitely make sure it's a Visa, MasterCard in there. And like I said, I've never changed my currency, but what is your thought on that?
Yeah, well, depends where you are in the country. As we are based here at these workshops in the OSA. The OSA is a touristic place, and then every touristic place in Costa Rica can take dollars. We have colones, that's our currency. Right now it's 500 colones, more or less is $1. And, you know, but you can pay with dollars, but they will give you change colones. That's the thing, you know. We don't have dollars to trade.
It's not the main
We
currency.
accepted it, but we always give you back colones and the change. So, but yeah, you can pay now, and almost pretty much, except the vendors on the streets. You know, you will need cash. But normally, most likely people can pay with credit cards everywhere now.
So the next question is, if I'm on a workshop, on one of our workshops,
Okay.
what's a typical day like, and how do I get the most from it? Well, typical day is breakfast starts at 5:30. We're usually getting in the trucks by 6:37.
Yep.
And one day we're gone.
Yeah, each day varies a little bit.
Yeah,
I
one day
don't
we're
know if
gone
there's really a
12
typical
hours,
day.
and
Well,
you know, depends on what the activity is for today. Would you agree?
Well, yeah, I would say the typical day is just make sure that you have your memories ready, the batteries are charged, and
Please.
you have a good breakfast, and that
Yeah.
way you're ready for the whole day. Yeah, no, every day is different.
Yeah.
We're talking, and pretty much we leave almost similar time except one day. The return we don't know, depend how the day is, but pretty much we just try to be as much as possible outside, and you know. And with the weather again, going back and just changes around. So yeah,
And we typically have lunch on the road, usually
Yeah.
at a
Yep.
local place.
Yep.
yeah. We are incorporating now to be more close to locals and for that part for
Yep.
lunches, and even we go to private properties to do some activity with them. So it is nice to support that part too.
Yep.
And I would say this, I'm going to say, is, I feel, the hardest shooting area workshop
Oh, yeah.
you and I offer
Oh, for
is
sure.
here.
For sure.
It's a
black
challenge.
belt level
Yes,
wildlife
there you
photography.
go. I haven't heard it for a few years.
Black belt level wildlife photography.
Yep.
And the other thing is that ask questions.
Yes.
One of the
ask.
things, you know, and this goes to for every workshop. You're paying some pro out there a lot of money to be someplace and for their expertise, and ask us questions. You know, I think that's the biggest thing is so many people wait till the end of the workshop to start asking questions. They miss a lot of opportunities. So yeah, I think that's the big thing is just make
Yes.
sure you ask,
Yeah.
avail yourself of the opportunities and of the fact that there's a pro here that is, basically
Yes.
you're paying them to help you, so take advantage of that. Ask them questions.
Thing is, ask the questions, but also once you ask, kind of listen.
Take the advice.
Take the advice.
Take the advice.
Try it at least once. That's all I'm
Yeah,
saying.
try new
it
things.
once.
That's another good thing for workshops is try new things.
Try.
Sometimes people are resistant. You give them some advice and they're a little resistant, and it's like, you're on a workshop. You're here to learn. Try the new
once.
stuff. Jump out of your comfort zone a little bit, and sometimes you like
Don't
the
you
results.
agree?
Yeah, and also show the pictures. I think something that we are practicing in this week is like the participant, come and show the picture. Not like from us to judge what you're doing. Is mostly to know what you're doing and to make sure that everything is right. You're focusing or something is not really missing there. That helps a lot even from the first day, because the first day is when we just starting to take pictures here, which is very different than at home where you live. Is very, very special here.
Right.
So that's even been more like, hey, Steve, what about this? Or hey, Rose, this is a good. What do you think? You know, all
Yep.
that makes you to kind of like be one-on-one way to do this, and you will like it because there is a lot to learn here, and then that's the main point of this. Besides to have a nice time with us, it's also to learn and to go back with nice files.
Yep.
Right, I mean, we almost never make fun of you behind your back when you do that too.
No,
I'm just kidding.
no,
Just kidding. It's a
no.
joke. We have to have a little humor here.
What about potty breaks, snacks, drinks? Well, we do have some bathrooms along the way. On our workshops, this is all based on our workshop, Backcountry Gallery. Most days we have bathrooms. We don't have as many as we'd like. But, you know, sometimes when we're out there on the long jungle road day, sometimes we have to find a bush. A guide finds a little
The
area for us.
jungle is your toilet.
Yes. What did you say?
The jungle is your toilet.
Yeah,
No.
okay. But when I agreed to it, I was like, what? Wait a minute. But yeah, in our trucks, when we go out, all three of our trucks we have 3 big Yeti coolers filled with cold drinks, which would be tea,
Waters,
juice,
yeah, a lot of
waters. We have fresh fruit in ours, and we have snacks with us all the time. Every day we're out.
You're well hydrated and fed with us.
Fed, and so yeah, you do kind of need. Well, as it gets hot, you end up sweating a lot
Yeah.
down here, but
Yeah, don't come down here if you're on a diet.
yeah.
Right. Well,
Make sure you know. And I don't know how other workshops work, and that, but ours, you always have plenty of food and water, and we will always, if we need to, find a bathroom.
and actually, it's only like the first day that we go pretty far. That we
Yeah, for
have
the
2
most part.
bathroom breaks, and maybe but.
Yeah,
All the rest, they will always we go to play with bathrooms.
Right.
So yeah, it
Yeah, not a big
will be
deal.
not a big deal.
yeah. Just if you're female and you're coming down here, we're gonna find a little spot, and we kind of make a door. We block everybody else from coming that way, so
Yeah.
you can use the bathroom.
Yep, and it's of course one at a time. It's not a social
Yep.
event.
Yeah.
Okay, enough potty talk. Let's move on.
How do you keep biting bugs at bay?
I'm going to let Dennis field
Yeah,
this
I'm gonna
one
let you
because
field this
he
one.
lives here. So here, what is your experience with bugs here, biting insects?
Well, maybe I think the bugs are already bored to eating me, so I don't get it. I don't know if I'm the great person to ask that, but what I see with other people is that it's not terrible here. So we do have mosquito in some areas. We have more, likely like monocultive, like maybe near a palm plantation or chocolate plantation, but basically with something like off or something.
Yeah, it doesn't take much.
Yeah,
We try sometime what I've seen is there's some more natural products they can work for a little bit, but maybe not that long. You can try different things. We always say you bring what you think is the best. We do have places here too that you can get if the thing that you choose at home that you bring it. If it doesn't work,
Try something else.
there's something here that's stronger.
Yeah.
That will help. But it's not bad.
I was going to say, I've been down here 10 days. I've not put bug spray on a single time, and I don't think I have any bites on me. I mean, I think people worry way too much about mosquitoes. I think it's way overblown. I mean, there are, like Dennis says, there are places where you might find a few more of them, and you want to put a little spray on or wear long pants or something, but honestly, it's just not, everyone thinks that the rainforest is like infested with mosquitoes. It's the opposite. It's true. People around here have their houses open with no screens all the time.
Yeah.
Right, and I think out of the 3 of us, if one of the 3 of us is going to get bit, it's me. And all I do for down here is I found an off lotion, plant-based, and I just put that on, and I'm fine.
Yeah.
I mean, I got bit by a fire ant, but that was my fault. I stepped in its nest. So, but that I only got bit once because I got it all off really quick. But mainly, if someone's going to get bit, it's me, and that off lotion, plant-based, works great down here.
It's such a non-issue.
Yeah,
People
it really
worry
is.
about it. First time I came down here, I was worried about it too. I thought, oh my gosh, I hope they have enough mosquito repellent. And then it turns out, don't hardly even need it.
I don't think I've swatted at one mosquito since we've been down here, but
It's not bad at all.
No. So our final question is, what about the heat? How do you deal with the heat and the humidity?
Well, I, for one, just get all dehydrated and shrivel up, but I don't know. What about you guys?
I drink a lot of water.
A lot of water.
A lot of water. And after a couple days, you kind of get used to it.
Little
and
bit.
But like this time of year, like you could probably tell probably from my hair, not theirs, but there's a bit of a wind up here, and we have a breeze, but not every day do we have a breeze.
No, well, some people sweat a lot, and some people sweat less. So if you are one of those persons that take the humidity more, more like a heart, you can maybe just bring a little towel from the room and just dry yourself.
Right.
It's
And
high. It's over
big thing to stay
90%. It's pretty high humid here. And I see people like dripping like a lot, but there's some people that don't. So at the end, it depends on the person. But and as we were saying, we have different ways to do it, like with water. We have AC in a car when you come back after the shoot in the car with AC. So it's not terrible.
No, most people handle it pretty well, I think.
Yeah, no, it is.
I think everyone handles it pretty. I've never had anyone pass out on
No,
me or
as
anything
I
like
say, we've never
that.
had anyone
Because we
get in
keep
trouble or
a lot of fresh fruit in the coolers and water and juices to help people that are getting, sweating through a lot. But
Yeah,
that is
that's
the
it.
end of our questions. But I know I personally would like to say something is that Steve and I, we've added so many workshops and that we can't always be here in Costa Rica to run these. This is the first time we've been back here in 3 years. Dennis, thank you. You do such a wonderful
Yeah,
job running
absolutely,
our
great job.
workshops for us. People love coming and visiting with you, and you've had repeat clients come back and come and be with you because they had so much fun. But from me and from Steve, we'd like to say thank you for handling
you do a great job.
our workshops here
Absolutely
so well
great job.
when we cannot personally be here. Thank you.
No, thank you. It's been an honor to work with you guys, and your groups are very beautiful people when I arrive.
They really are
very
good.
nice.
Yeah.
Very well organized. Rose is always in every detail. Make my job very easy. Sometimes, wow,
Yep.
I really believe I can
Yep.
do this.
Cool. All right. Well, I think that wraps us up.
Yep.
As always, thank you so much for watching. Remember, if you enjoyed this video, hit that like and subscribe button, and I'll be your best friend. Thank you so much for watching. Have a great day, and I hope to see you in Costa Rica one of these times.
Adios.
Thank you.
Hasta luego. Bye bye. There's a toucan right there. Look at him. Over there.
Because I don't have the camera.
Oh my God. Look at that. Look at that flying.